Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel Anaka Design. This is going to be a follow-up Friday, flip-through Friday type of video. Many of you will know that I went to my annual self-guided retreat at our timeshare in Canmore, Alberta. And I didn't do a video this time about what I was planning to take because my packing was so last minute. But obviously, I can only work on what I take. This year, I didn't take, there were some things I probably should have had, but didn't. I thought that I would limit myself to, excuse me, deconstructing some stuff, fussy cutting, and doodling. Now, I do thrift right there in town in Canmore. But again, you never know what you might find. And if you don't bring the proper tools, certainly I'm not going to be buying tools. So I thought I packed lighter this time, but apparently not. Some of the things I did will turn out to be actual videos. But as I was just unpacking my suitcase this morning, I thought that I should probably show you what I did. In addition to what I did, I also was watching videos from the free version of Art Oasis that I signed up for. And that was being hosted by Jessica Swift. So there was that. Plus, the usual stuff. I did a heart-to-heart with Sierra from Cooley Craft Corner. I had a meeting with, some co-creators. We just had an online meeting one day, and so on and so on. So basically what I had was a number of these sorts of pouches. And like I said, I will show you basically what I accomplished. I know. At home here, a person has bags and pouches and envelopes and everything you need under the sun. I had this little envelope from a package of disposable cutlery. I forgot that I stuck something in there. One of the things I did was I picked up I shouldn't have started with the dinkiest little thing off the bat. Didn't quite, well, maybe everything. There are a few that are playing hard to get. Okay, you know how in every hotel, whoopsie, there are these tourism type magazines? Well, I picked one up, again, because it was there and because it was free and because it was a small format. And what I did was I flipped through it. Now, this is obviously a second copy that I picked up, but let me just show you. Right at the beginning here is this Indigenous art. And I thought, wouldn't that be, and this guy's floral shirt, wouldn't those be a couple of great things to just do some doodling on? Here's the guy's shirt. Obviously, I picked things with green backgrounds to do leaves. This may have been, I don't know, water or sky or both. This was just some pinky orange ombre stuff. And these, I got many of these little things out of that Indigenous art. And of course, they may not look like that much by themselves. But depending what I do with them next, they will, have new life. and there were all sorts of them and in different sizes. Then I found some other stuff, obviously blue, just did some very simple flowers with those. Did something a little bit different in the way of foliage, but you get the idea. So enough about that. Let me see if I can scoop this up and move it out of the way. There will be, let me do a disclaimer or whatever. There will be nothing particularly earth-shattering here. I mean, if you've never heard some of this stuff before, then I'm going to seem like a genius, but otherwise, no. So while going through that magazine, I also just picked some words and some images. Your best foot forward, explore. This was, across 2 pages. So, it's great to do this, but I must say that unless a person has a very clear, logical filing system, I may never see these things again. So what I'm attempting to do more and more often these days is use them quickly rather than rack my brains thinking, okay, where should I put them? How am I going to remember I even have them? And so on and so on. So I guess keep that in mind. Now, one of the books I took along to deconstruct was this Singer Sewing Essentials. I love the color. I love the cover. So again, my tools were limited. I didn't take a paper cutter along. I didn't take a cutting mat. Like, I really was kind of, I don't know what I was thinking when I was packing, to be honest. So where there were beautiful full-page illustrations, I just kept those intact, thinking, at some point I'll decide how I'm going to use them. There are many other pages, excuse me, that I didn't do anything with yet. You can see that in some places there are chunks missing, and I'll show you those in a minute. So for the time being, I'm hanging on to this. Again, words that, would come in handy for a sewing journal. Now, as I took apart, I think both covers are intact here, but I did have some backing paper. Again, I didn't take any specifically for that, but as you take things apart, you end up with some backing paper. So I also fussy cut these sorts of images. Don't know what I'm doing with them, but you can see that there are some great ones. Fabric swatches and tools, and even, I'm telling you, as I accidentally read some of this stuff as I was working on it, I even learned a few things. Things that have long since been forgotten since home ec. Where the layout was such that, very easily folded vertically, and good information, I just did some folds. Like, this would obviously be like for a tall skinny. So there are a few of those. Well, quite a few of those apparently. Sizes, all of that. So this stuff is staying intact. Then, let me move this aside so it's easier for you to spot what I'm showing you. Running out of places to put things. Okay, so then a few of the things I did back, and I had a corner rounder, so I did that as well. So there are those things. So it feels like, I made some progress. Okay, so that was, I'll put all that back in there, or get it into the sewing, sewing journal stuff. Now, I don't think I did a darned thing. I should take these flags out of here. I don't think that I did a darn... Nope, didn't do a darn thing with that pouch, other than drive it 500 kilometers one way and then back again. Okay, let's see what this one was. Oh, I think I know what this was, and I didn't end up using it. One of the things, and I don't know that that video is aired yet. See, I'm taping this on a Friday, October 24th or 5th, and but you'll see it in November. Oh, can I just tell you, I didn't do anything with this either. I bought this at a scrapbooking store. Like, the images are great. The color is great. I've shown this before. It's called Kitchen Mode. And presumably this white line is supposed to help you cut. But, and of course, you know, that typical crazy mentality of one is good, two must be better. So I have two of these, not identical, of course. Even I'm not that crazy. This is a lot of fussy cutting, and somehow I feel less inclined to do this than I would just, you know, regular stuff out of the, out of any old magazine. Oh, I saw somebody working on paper dolls. Now, I showed this years ago, well, I don't know when. I managed to find this paper doll set. I don't even remember where now. Anyway, I cut this girl out before I left, and I thought, oh, there are all these costumes. I could, you know, I might fussy cut this as well. Well, obviously, I didn't do that either. So, you know, oh, better not lose a boot. That's the other thing, you know, you can pack some stuff and not use it at all, which I suppose it's better to have it and not use it than want to use it and not have it. Oh, these were just scraps of things that I thought I might use and didn't. See, that could have been, well, that's a bit glossy. Anyway, what I'm talking about here with these things that I said I packed and didn't use is I did one of those. That's the video you haven't seen yet. I'll just show you the cover. This is one of those journals made out of a magazine. This one was Modern Patchwork. So that probably warrants its own video, and that's an idea I directly stole from Caroline on the Hillside. So that will get its own video. Excuse me, but that's why I had some of those papers. Okay, let's look at this. Now, I had taken apart a book on, am I going to know the title? Oh, Attracting Birds to Your Backyard. And there were so many beautiful things. So now whether or not this is the size they're going to stay, but there were all these, you know, A to Z little page headers. This I bent back to show me that I don't know which side I would use, maybe that side. Some pages that I left intact because they're beautiful. So there are a few of those. Now, of course, because I didn't have a paper cutter or any mechanism to make a nice straight line, I just left those intact, and of course we'll trim those up. Oh, I guess I did have a little bit of backing paper, so I don't need to keep that together anymore. And then I had, the reason this book was so beautiful, or one of the things I loved so much about this book, were these circular illustrations. And you can see that in every case, something broke the edge of the circle. So I did a lot of fussy cutting. Then because I was doodling, I separated these flowers, which reminds me I need to keep that as a resource. That's also flowers. Then there were other things that I just fussy cut straight. And I guess I don't need to, I mean, we all know what fussy cutting is. So I won't go into much more of that. I did have a tearing ruler, so some of these things I just tore, knowing that, boy, that's straight, hey? You know, I guess leaving the door open to fussy cutting this some more, you know, maybe cutting that off diagonally and getting rid of it quickly, the text quickly, or knowing that I might have to cover it up. So pages upon pages of this kind of stuff. Then, because I had some, I never trimmed this one. I did do some backing. I think I left these so that I could cut them nice and straight on a cutter. So I should do that too, I guess, before I totally put this away. I've been collecting bird stuff virtually since day one, so it seems to me I better get some bird journals done. There were a couple of cute scarecrows, so I did those. Oh, even more of these circles. Some of these things I backed just to give them a little more stability. Oh yeah, these need trimming too. Okay, and then I overlapped some of the circles to make belly bands. So I just backed it with some sort of paper and made sure that top to bottom it was no more than about 8 inches. Because, you know, and there's very little being overlapped, but what's holding it together is the fact that I used one piece of paper there. And here is another one. So I thought I made pretty good progress with that. I will just put some of these things aside, because of course the minute this video is over I still have to, maybe I should put this back in here. You know, so I do still have some trimming to do, but already look how much further ahead of the game I am. Okay, throw this on the floor. Oh, I could have put it back in here, I suppose. Okay, so what else? Let's see what we have in this one. Oh, I found a really cute book. As I thrifted, I did one stop. Got some static there. I did one stop along the way. Now, do I have the name of the book there? It was about somebody or other, Sonia maybe, being a snob. And I love the illustrations. So some of them I backed. Some I folded down. Because, you know, how do you pick and choose who to use here? So this is wider than 5 inches, or 5.5 inches, 3, 6. So it's 6 inches wide. So again, you know, maybe that last boy gets cut off there or something. But again, I didn't have a mechanism for cutting. So there are a few of those things that are prepped for pockets. Some that are just, I didn't really know what to do with. Some things that were fussy cut. This is a really cute hat. I didn't fussy cut around it though. I don't know what I'll do, I don't know. I don't know. Don't make me tell you I don't know. I like this one because of that teacher. Doesn't she look a little bit funky? And I thought, I could make this into a corner pocket. So just page after page of cute illustrations. Some of the pages I left intact, again, because I didn't know what to do. And then a bit of the text. Typically, unless something jumps out at me text-wise, I don't typically make those decisions at this time. So I'll add this to my kids' stuff. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of effort to round these kids up. Okay. Now I had, I don't know if you remember, you know, when toll painting kind of had its heyday. There was the Donna Dewberry was one of the people that, you know, had Donna. So she had this book of how to paint all these flowers. Now I have been chewing away at this for a while now. Some of these things don't really belong here. And I initially, you know, I would do things like that. Now, when the time comes, I would remove the white there, there, and there. And then I thought, at this rate, I am never going to finish this. Flowers A to Z with Donna Dewberry. And then there were pages like this. So I thought, okay, enough is enough is enough. I just wanted this done. So I began being a little more brutal, also knowing that if I'm trying to store something like this for any length of time, chances are it's going to get damaged. So then, and quite often the foliage was just not really very good. But if you pick enough of it, I mean, I just started separating it into leaves and stems, so I have all that. If something was gigantic, I cut it down so that it's more usable. Because honestly, she would have one flower fill the entire page. Now, I probably shouldn't even have shown you this today, because, well, or I can tell you, I'll just tell you. I kind of tried to group them in colorways, but I used these flowers because, again, because they're not particularly good. I mean, this was pretty amazing when it first came out, but we know that it has its, let's just say it has its place. So I decided that there are better, more realistic looking flowers out there in the world and in my library. So I'm just going to try to use these up, because again, the price that I paid on this magazine or on this book was $2. How many man hours, how many woman hours are going to go into using this up? So what I chose to do was, but again, I'm not showing it now, is I use those flowers in here. And when the time comes for that video, I will show you how I made use of some of these. And of course, in that context, they are, I think it really works out quite nicely. So I still have all these to use up, but then I'll be able to say amen to that. Now, these were off the cover, so they're kind of ready to go as is. And so for now, I'll just keep that all together. Okay. Oh, I had this that I was using in that magazine magazine journal. Oh, and recently I showed you that book, or maybe I didn't. Was it a book on, it was a book on stenciling or trompe-l'oeil? Not sure. Maybe I have the cover page here. Anyway, I took that book apart. Oh, right. Stenciling, a Harrow-Smith guide. So I saved all the pages that had either nice big white spots or areas that I could easily use in upcoming work. So I'm obviously not going to show you every single thing. Where the pages were, you know, kind of full design, I kept them intact. You know, sometimes the back, it's easy to make the decision. In other cases, and you can see how lovely these could be, now that they're that much, like I don't care about this whatsoever. I would not use that. Maybe I would use the rope. But these, you know, I picked that over the dinosaurs, obviously. Where are they? See, there are these that have things on both sides. So I'd probably cut it or tear it in such a way that I'd get the best of both worlds. Okay, so those are the ones that essentially stayed full-sized. Then there were others where I could tear them down to a more user-friendly signature size. I did. Sometimes I isolated, you know, things as small as that. But this stuff is now, I would say, very close to being ready to use. Now, I'm not... Oh, so these would have been photographs in the same book showing some of the projects. I love the idea of a leather desk blotter. Oh, you know what? That's a portable writing stationer's box or whatever they used to call them. It usually had a sloped writing surface, room for fountain pens and ink and so on. This I just thought was kind of cool. Here's another desk look. Here are more scones and strawberries. So that book is now far more usable to me. Okay, a couple more things and then we'll call it a day. Now I had taken I have several books on calligraphy and on lettering, and I thought, you know, that's one of those things that you kind of need to put some time into. I'd taken a calligraphy course probably 20 years ago and loved it. But again, if you don't use it, you lose it. Now, I took pouches and pouches of pens and markers, but I did not take any chisel point pens. So needless to say, I didn't do any calligraphy. Oh, and this Biong Fang sketchbook. Now it says lightweight paper for use with pencil, pastel, charcoal, crayon, pen, and ink. This was the one I paid $2 for at a thrift store. So I just made some grids. I think these are 2x2 squares. And just did some mark making. You know, is anything here so off the wall beautiful? Don't know, but it was a fun exercise. Here's some more. Here is some more. Now I was just, you can see that the paper is pretty lightweight and you know, there is, if you look hard, there is, you can certainly, didn't necessarily bleed through, but it's, the paper's thin enough you can see it. Now, I also had just decided to write on one side of the, or doodle on one side of the page, so that if there was something very miraculous that arose out of that, then I would, you know, be able to access it. Now, I have a clipboard here, and I've had this, and you've seen this before. This is a digital that I have on feed sack quilting. Now, if you've seen this before, forgive me. imagine that, and then imagine this. So mark making, faux stitching, highlighting, outlining, whatever. Here's another one. And I thought, well, okay, I have some other sheets that I've never touched yet. Wide. And this is how it was. This is the back of it. And this is how it was reinforced with old newspaper. And this was from the 30s. Anyway, so I thought, and I just had this clip to this clipboard. Clip to the clipboard. And then I started working on this one. And I've never done this sort of rose effect before. And I was pretty pleased with how that turned out. Now, obviously, I only did bits and pieces here. So I guess this stuff will continue to stay clipped to the clipboard. And I will continue to work at it when the spirit moves me. I must say, though, that one of the advantages of, packing, and obviously you don't need a timeshare, you don't need a week, but packing a few supplies to keep your artistic activity, your practice going, I think is good for the soul every so often. I got home last night and I was kind of wiped out because, it is a 5-hour drive. And I'd done some stuff in the city before I came home. Anyway, it occurred to me that when I'm at home, even though I'm in charge of my own schedule, there are so many competing activities, projects, tools, ideas, pulling me in every direction, that one of the benefits of this getaway was the fact that I was very limited in what I had to do. So you can see I didn't create the world's masterpiece in any way, shape, or form. I did some meditative stuff like mark making. I did work in that magazine journal, which I'll show you on another day. And yeah, it was a bit of an eye-opener to me. I came home thinking, okay, let's make a to-do list for today, which is Friday. And I wanted to do some videos, so I did, I'm doing that. But there are other things that just diffuse and spread one's focus. And I guess that's the reality, because, you can't run away from home, or at least not very often. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, I thought you might be interested in seeing that. So remember, Flip Through Friday, is a hashtag that Gwen, the trash witch, created. And Flip Through Friday is one that I first learned off through Kim Newbert. And I like to use it as a way to bring you up to speed on what I've been doing. So thank you very much, and we shall see you in the next one. Bye.